Hi YouTube world, this is Amber Lee with Plants and Planes, and today is my debut on YouTube. I guess to tell you a little bit about myself, I am a flight attendant, if you can't tell by my attire. Today I am coming to you from the beautiful Salt Lake City. It's a gorgeous day actually today for December. I didn't expect it to be so sunny here. I went for a run earlier and rented a bike, and while I was renting the bike, which if some of you aren't familiar, a lot of cities downtown have bikes that you can rent by the hour or 30-minute increments or things like that, and it's super, super awesome. I know Seattle has them, Salt Lake City, Denver. It's becoming really, really popular. It's super awesome, and I like supporting that whenever I'm in a different city. But anyways, when I was renting the bike, I was thinking, you know, about how I wanted to do this. I wanted to start a YouTube channel to share my life and how I live a plant-based lifestyle, particularly high carbohydrate, high fruit, high raw lifestyle while constantly being on the go and constantly being in a different city. I've been vegan for almost 2 years now. If you want to go really far back, the first time I went vegetarian, I was 5 years old. I grew up in North Carolina, which is not really a vegetarian-friendly state for the most part. Kind of still isn't when you compare it to some other cities across the U.S. It's still my home though. I still love it. It's still near and dear to my heart. But anyways, I was 5 years old and eating dinner one night at a restaurant and saw a little vein in the chicken that I was eating. And I was like, what's this in my chicken? And my older sister, my loving, wonderful, fabulous older sister, looked at me. She's always been the one to knock me into reality sometimes. And she said, "It's blood." And I was like, "Blood? Why is there blood in my chicken?" And my sister said, "'Cause it's dead." And I was like, "What are you talking about? Like, chicken isn't dead. The chicken you eat isn't the chicken that goes cluck cluck in the yard." At the time, I know a lot of like our neighbors and people around, you know, had chickens, and as an avid animal lover, even at a small age, my sister was like, "Yeah, it is." And I was like, "No, it's not. These are two totally different things." And I went to my mom. I was like, "Mom, tell her that the chicken you eat's not the chicken that goes cluck cluck in the yard." And my mom was like, "Yes, sweetie, it is." Oh, and I burst into tears, and I said I didn't want to eat animals, and my mom told me that maybe, you know, when I grew up I wanted to be a vegetarian, and I was like, yes, I want to be a vegetarian. So anyways, I was off and on vegetarian all growing up, several years as a teenager I would, but I also struggled with a lot of eating disorders as well. My mom, you know, and I were talking recently, and she told me that I was the only baby of her 5 children that she did have to supplement and use formula and other things for, along with breastfeeding. So I've been hungry since the day I was born, just hungry. And anyways, so I've been vegan, complete vegan, for almost 2 years now. It actually happened shortly after I became a flight attendant. I moved to Seattle, Washington, and I had some health problems. I stopped getting a menstrual cycle. P.S. by the way, I'm going to be extremely brutally honest on my channel, so if that makes you uncomfortable, you might not want to watch. But anyways, I didn't have a menstrual period for 3 months, and I was also looking around the Seattle area and becoming more aware, and I was like, wait a minute, I can be vegan? I can eat this way for real now, like the way I've always, the way I've always wanted to eat, the way that made sense to me even as a young child. And I can always find an option at like almost all restaurants, and there are whole restaurants here, you know, dedicated to a vegan lifestyle and way of eating. And I was like, done. This is the way I want to eat. This is the way I'm going to eat. You know, regardless of what anybody else thinks, it makes sense to me. It resonates with me. And so that was it, like not even a discussion needed. So I did continue to struggle though with not having a menstrual period. I didn't have one for another 3 months, and then it started again. And so I was like, great, you know, I thought I was out of the woods. I thought, you know, that eating healthier and knocking out all animal products out of my diet was very helpful. And 6 months went by, and that was great. And then I stopped getting my menstrual cycle again. And I went almost a full year. And now I'm 31, but at that time I was 29 and 30. And I don't know, like I went to 3 different doctors. I went to a couple of naturopaths. They all had different recommendations. One of them told me he wanted me to up my protein by 2-3 times as much. So I tried that. I tried increasing the fat in my diet. A side effect of having a low thyroid, which is what it would boil down to. All my test scores were great. They said, all the doctors said my blood count, red blood cells, white blood cells, my iron, even my protein showed up as fine before I ever even tried increasing it. But the only thing that was low was my T3 thyroid. So apparently my thyroid wasn't working correctly, which has a delayed effect on your metabolism, your other hormones. I definitely felt, unstable. But of course you could attribute that to my job and constantly being on the go and stuff. But anyway, so I went to that one naturopath and recommended that I up my protein intake. He wanted to put me on thyroid medication, but that was one thing that I really, really believed strong in. I told him, I said, I know that my T3 is not showing up well and that it's low, but I'm convinced that it's something that I'm doing that's causing my body to do this. This is something I've never had a problem with in my life. I just know that there's something I'm doing that's wrong. I don't think that it's just like, oh, my thyroid doesn't work anymore, So, and I also thought I was too young. Even though I was, hitting my 30s and stuff, I still felt like it was too young for that to happen. And so I tried a lot of things. Another side effect to your thyroid not working is the fact that it slows your entire digestive tract down. So I had to start getting colonics on a regular basis because I couldn't go to the bathroom. Again, brutally honest here. But my hope with this channel is to help other people. It's not to boost my ego or to make myself feel better about myself. I realize that there'll be a lot of, probably even negative comments of people that disagree with me and stuff. But my hope is really just to encourage other people to be healthy and live their fullest life possible. So anyways, I tried increasing my fat intake. I started using a lot of oils and stuff, flaxseed oils and, cold pressed olive oil and things like that. That's what the colonic specialist told me I needed to do, that it would help lubricate my entire digestive system. I tried increasing my protein, just like that naturopath said, and honestly, I just continued to feel worse and worse and worse and worse. And I'm somebody that likes to run. Running changed my life. I don't run like a crazy amount. We're talking like under 20 miles a week usually, but my running was really starting to suffer. I couldn't run for more than 20-30 minutes. And the bad thing about that is, like, if you've ever run before, you know that 20-30 minutes, that's when it starts to feel amazing. That's when you actually start to enjoy it. So I was like, you know what, my whole life is starting to go downhill. And then I started watching some YouTube channels like Durian Rider and Freely the Banana Girl and Rice and Raw, and there's a ton of them out there. But I started watching them and thinking, you know what, I eat so many vegetables, but because of all these other things that I had read, like I Quit Sugar, I had read that by Sarah Wilson. I was convinced that I needed lower carbohydrates and higher fat and higher protein, and that's the thing that you have to watch out for when you're vegan. And as I started to shift and increase my fruit intake, and instead of putting like 70% greens in my smoothies and just like 20-30% fruit, as I started to increase the fruit, it was amazing. Like, I started to have energy again. I started to feel better. No matter how much almond butter I ate at night to make myself feel better and satiated, I just felt worse and worse and worse and worse. And it almost makes me emotional to start to talk about it, but it changed my life to start eating this way. I definitely, and I'll show you more in future videos and stuff, I'm definitely a little pudgier than I had been. I've been a lot thinner in my life, but I can run again, and I can bike again, and I can feel good all day. I can work circles around other flight attendants, and that's even on all-nighters. And I don't eat caffeine or drink caffeine. I don't drink coffee. I don't drink tea. I don't drink any of that stuff. Give me my banana smoothie. And again, I can work circles around any flight attendant I know. And so anyways, I just want to share how I do that on the road, how I pack my lunchbox, how I eat inexpensively. If you know anything about flight attendants, you know that it's not really a money-making career. You're not going to become a millionaire this way or anything. But there is a way to do it, and there's a way to do it cost-effectively and a way to do it in a healthy way, I think. So I just want to share that with you guys. And so if you like this video, if I didn't, share too much information and you want to know more about how I eat high carbohydrate, low fat, low protein, plant-based diet, then subscribe below, and I'll be coming to you from a different city on my next video, who knows where. And remember, if you want to live high, you got to fuel high. So fuel well, and I'll see you next time. Bye.